Hi, it's Hills from the Blue Flame Apothecary. Whew. Well, we made it through the wormhole of the Blood Moon Eclipse. Kind of. I mean, the energy is still very strong through this month and until the next eclipse season. But it'll start to calm. It may have already started to calm in the intensity of it. As the eclipse phased out, some new energies were coming online. There's a fixed star, one of the royal stars, Algol, who was meeting with her conjunction, I should say their conjunction, with the sun. This lasted until today. I'm recording this on the 18th of May. And as Algol is moving out of their conjunction with the sun, the Pleiades are moving in to their conjunction with the sun. And on the 20th of May, Alcyone, the great central sun of the Pleiades star system, will meet with its exact conjunction with our sun. One of the things that's come in for me to speak about before we really, this is all transmission, we know that. But there's some, what does this mean? Energy. What does it mean when a star is conjunct our star, our great central sun? And the solar system's great central sun. When you look up into the night sky, my throat's going, yes, it's time. When you look up into the night sky, whether you're in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere, there are certain stars. They're called fixed stars. They can be viewed from all parts of the planet at different times of year. There are stars that phase in the summertime and then phase out in the wintertime, and vice versa. So here in the northern hemisphere, our winter stars are starting to phase out. So you may have noticed, if you're looking up at the night sky, you don't see the Pleiades anymore, except for kind of right at sunset. You don't see Sirius anymore, except for in the wee hours of the morning. Algol, Altaron, many stars, most of the Orion constellation as well, Betelgeuse. These stars all begin to hit their conjunction points with the sun. You could call this their star point. I'm not sure how much we've talked about the Venus star point, but a star point is when a planet or a star switches from an evening star to a morning star, or from a morning star to an evening star. This is what's happening with Algol, with Betelgeuse, with the Pleiades this weekend, and Algol is just about to move along onto the other side of the sun now. The way that it's come in to talk about this energy is know what to call it. It's footsteps. It's a little story that a lot of people have on plaques, and it's usually a picture of footsteps on a beach. And at one point, the footsteps change, and instead of 2 sets of footprints, there's 1, and then it changes again, and there's 2. And it's a person speaking to Jesus, and the 2 sets of footsteps. One is Jesus's footsteps or God's footsteps. You could think of it as higher self's footsteps even. And the other is yours as you're walking your path, your journey of life. And the person, the being, says, I don't understand. When I was in the hardest time of my life, when things were the roughest, my footsteps were alone. There was only 1 set of footsteps. And Jesus, the higher self, the light being, said to this person, oh no, dear, oh no. You were not alone. It was during that time that I was carrying you. When I feel into what it means for a star system to move out of our view, it kind of feels like this. In particular, as we're coming into this Pleiadian portal, there is this energy of the Pleiades, Alcyone, the great central sun of the Pleiades, that they are sort of kind of architects, but more so models. It's coming in models. They are the model for our next stage of evolution, elevation. When we had been hit at various times, you could think of this as Sedna passing through even every 11,000 years. So 11,000 years, when we get hit and we have an evolutionary jump and we start agriculture. 11,000 years before that, we get hit and we evolve into a closer resemblance of these 2-legged beings with the hairless monkey, the hairless ape that we are today. When there's a lot coming in right now about that, because that's one story, and there's other history that exists before that is higher dimensional. But that's so much. I don't think we're going there today. You can feel into it though if you want to. It's flowing right now. Instead, we're gonna go into the realm of Pleiades as not the creator God, but past and future self. That's the way it's coming in, past and future self. Now the Pleiades, they come in and reach their highest point in the sky, the night sky, right around Halloween. And then they start to move out until this time when Taurus is moving into Gemini. And one of the ways that this happens, when Alcyone hits the sun exact, that's the transition time from Taurus into Gemini. Feel into the energetic blueprint of what Taurus is. Taurus is very earth, material. It has that Gaia, tree, roots, energy. Very grounded energy. It is a fixed earth sign. It is very earthy. It's very earthy. Gemini is all about the mind, the mental body, receiving divine messages from God. Mercury is the messenger of God, and that is the planet that Gemini is associated with. So as we move, the moment that we move out of this very earth grounded sign, it's very material, solid sign, into receiving messages from the gods. Alcyone is conjunct with our sun. It feels as if Alcyone is saying, here are the messages. Bloop, push. In my meditation this morning, I was guided to walk up to a park called Star King. And there's a labyrinth up there, and I was guided to walk it. The moment that I turned around to bow to the east before I went into the labyrinth, I looked up to the sun, and there was one of those heliospheres, the rainbow, the halo rainbow around the sun. And I knew at that moment that this was one of the ways in which Alcyone would be speaking to us, and I'll share that. I took a picture of it after I walked the labyrinth because it was still there, and I'll share that with you guys. It's coming in very loudly to talk about star seeds. Pleiadian star seeds are probably the most common, at least the most talked about of all of the star seed incarnates here on the planet right now. And this can take many, many, many forms, is the way that it comes in for me. Some incarnate direct. Some incarnate direct. They live on Pleiades and they walk in. It's not the same as the Buddhist principle of walk-ins, but it's similar. It's similar. Others do a more hop, skip, and a jump, where the Pleiades is one of many places that they visit as they attune themselves to come onto the earth plane. Others still bounce around back and forth from the earth plane to other dimensions, and this is the most common. At least that's the way that it's come in for me. This is the most common. One of the natal chart aspects of all of this is, especially amongst certain Native American tribes, and I think this is true in many different indigenous cultures around the world, if you happen to be born during the time of the soul conjunction with one of our fixed stars, you were considered to have incarnated directly from that system, or have some divine connection with that star system. So if you happen to be born on the 20th of May, 21st of May, or any time really between the 17th and the 25th, or this year it's the 18th to the 22nd, today to the 22nd. You're within that portal of having been, it's like your mother's womb as portal to, from the Pleiades to the earth plane. Is one way. That's the way it's coming in right now. I'm seeing it as direct transmission of soul. Direct transmission of soul. It can come in other ways. And you don't have to have an exact soul conjunction to be a Pleiadian starseed by any means. But if you do, chances are you have a very, very intimate connection with them, even if you're not consciously aware. There is also an aspect of duality within the Pleiades, because and this is where the footsteps comes in, they set in the summertime here in the northern hemisphere, and then they rise again in the winter. And so they've often been associated with death, with that time when everything is beginning to move from blooming life. The leaves are turning. It's getting colder. The days are getting shorter. Winter is associated with death in a lot of ways. Now, interestingly, if you're in the southern hemisphere, they would be rising in the summertime for you. So how then do we reconcile that depending on your location, location, they may rise or set at different times of the year. It is when they are not visible. And this is that starseed thing, right? They are very strong around Halloween when they're highest in the sky. But they are equally strong, if not more so. The portal is open wider. They're closer to us in a way when we can't see them. And this is that footsteps piece. There it is. We can get really hung up on what we can visibly see as humans. We really like our senses, and Taurus energy is really about that, the five senses, the physical senses. physicality is Taurus energy. So this is a part of the human condition. Our physical senses are beautiful, marvelous things. A lot of times for me, I will feel so grateful for these physical senses. The way that it comes in is, this is the only place that exists. Everywhere else, all of the other dimensional realms, senses are different. But these physical taste, the taste of chocolate from potato chips, the smell of a rose, viewing a beautiful rainbow or a sunset. These are things that exist because of the Earth plane, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. But when you get too hung up on them and forget about all of the other senses that are available, it feels like there's a bit of a trap there. It's a bit of a trap. And so Alcyone comes in. The Pleiades come in and say, hang on, let me show you that you can receive so much more. Not forgetting about your physical senses, but that there's so much more. You can receive so much more. You can feel light. You can feel light coursing through your veins. You can hear light. It's not simply about letting go of your mind. When you're in Gemini season, there's this amazing energy of quick, lightning fast thought processes. And sometimes one of the way that it's coming in is you need to have some integration time for all of this information that's coming in, all of these light codes that are coming in right now. Interestingly, Mercury is moving back into Taurus at the end of the week, more at the beginning of next week. And there's going to be an opening of opportunity to take in all of this information that you're getting this week, that you maybe got through the eclipse wormhole, and bring it into physical beingness. Physical beingness. There's a meditation that I'm sharing right now on the YouTube here. It usually exists only in the portal. It's the Tree of Life meditation. Originally, I was going to move it back into portal only access on the 17th, but I got a really strong hit. No, this is going to continue through the 22nd, through the main opening of this Pleiadian portal, and then it will move back into the membership portal. There's this book called Earth Pleiadian Keys to the Living Library. This book was written in the 90s. I love it. It's got lots of meditations, and it's a channeled transmission, the entire book. One of my favorite aspects of the book, though, is this conceptualization that the Pleiadian beings who channeled this information through of Earth as a living library. That one of the reasons that Gaia is so unique is because here all information is held. If you think of the Akashic records, as our souls, each unique soul's depository of information, magnify that, expand that out, and this is what Gaia is. Gaia holds all of the blueprints for every type of being and what their physical manifestation would look like. Feel into every critter that you see. Cats, dogs, a little fly, an ant, a tree, a mushroom, a bird, an earthworm, a fish, a mountain, every crystal. One of the things that this information templates for us, whether it's true or not, that the earth itself is this central library, is a remembrance that everything, whether we consider it animate or inanimate, contains light codes, contains light, has a spirit. Which means you can communicate, you can receive, and you can transmit. With everything around you. There's something that feels really powerful in this portal, and maybe this is why the Tree of Life meditation needed to continue to be available for everyone right now. And I'll put a link below, and I'll put it as an end card here as well. We are waking up to remember that we are all part of the same matrix. We are all connected through the light that moves through us, that is us, and that moves through and is everything else. It's not separate from us. Though we do have our unique template that we're gifting through our existence. There is another fun practice, and we'll end on this, that through this portal and throughout the rest of time, your incarnate time here anyways, could be fun. And just feel into when and how you can make it your own. A moment to see the light in anything at all. In your eyes when you look in the mirror, in your eyes when you look in the mirror, in somebody else's eyes. As you walk on the ground, the light reflecting from a little dot here, a little dot there. Maybe it's dew on grass. The light hitting windows or solar panels. Exuding out of your cat's heart, your dog's heart, your baby's heart, the plants around you's heart. The practice is simply to see and recognize the light within you and the light within whatever it is that you're interacting. And then seeing the connection between the two. That refraction, that reflection is coming up to meet the refraction and the reflection of light. You are all part of the same prism. I have Rainbow Connections playing in my head now. What a beautiful song that is. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. And I'm sure I'll come on and share more in the coming days. I always do, because there's so much to share. If you enjoyed this update, please subscribe and ring the bell to be notified whenever I drop a new transmission or light codes, post a new meditation, whatever it may be. And if you feel called to journey ever further and deeper with a held space community, I have the Blue Flame Apothecary membership portal on Patreon. I'll put a link below in the description for that. And we share our journey, we share our light. There's live transmissions and oracle card readings, all kinds of fun stuff. It's a party. I'm also feeling that I'm going to start offering very limited one-on-ones. And I'll have more information about that in the coming weeks as I feel into exactly what those might look like, at least at the start. It's such an honor. It's such an honor. And I love you guys so much. As always, and in always, from all the dimensions.